Okay, people, I'm gonna call this medical termination. Medical termination. Okay, so basically, what this is this is what happens when they, and most of you know who I'm referring to when I refer to they or them, and if you don't, just take it at face value. This is what happens. This is one of the tactics they use when they are taking somebody down. When they are taking you down, so you cannot be basically, operable. In other words, this is one of the tactics they use. So, first of all, what they'll do, and just to let you know also, I had mentioned, to a relative that I was talking to, I believe, this is how it started. I said, well, somehow the subject of me and my medical condition and my medications and stuff came up, and I just said, I know, thank God, because, if I didn't have it, I just can't function without it, talking about my medications and my doctors. Well, this is what they do, people. I began to get letters from each doctor. I only think I had two at the time, two or three. But one by one, I started getting letters from them, and they stated that they were going to be ending their practice with me. And it didn't say why. It just said they needed me to come in and file some paperwork. It just stated that they needed for me to come in and fill out some paperwork. And, they would terminate the practice. It didn't say why or anything. So I, when I went in, they wouldn't give me an answer or anything. And I was completely pissed because, to find a doctor to help you, you're going to have to drive farther out and all that stuff. But the second of my doctors, I was actually pissed at it. He was a little more, he couldn't take the pressure as well, let's put it that way. So I put the pressure on him. I said, look, I want to know what's going on. You can't just drop me like that and not help me until, you help me find another doctor. If this is what you're saying, you won't even give me a reason. You took an oath, and I expect you to honor that oath. Otherwise, I'm going to make a complaint, an official one, and they may help you get out of it, but at least your name will be in the system. So, he bowed to it real quickly. I didn't want to do that, but look what they were doing to me, So, anyway, finally he broke in and said, why are you guys doing this? Why are you doing this? I said, did you speak to somebody? Is that it? Did you speak to somebody? Did somebody contact you? And that's why you're doing this? And so finally he broke in and he said, well, I had dinner with one of my friends a couple of nights ago who works for the government. Really? And of course that was it. And I knew already that's what had happened, but I just wanted to see how he was going to put it, and that's exactly the way I thought he was going to put it. Anyway, so I explained to him, I was like, well, there it is right there. You don't have to tell me anymore. I know somebody's been in contact with you, and they've told you to basically, cut your service with me or else. So anyway, when I went in, so I told him, I said, well, I want at least 2 prescriptions from you, 2 months worth, to give me time to find another doctor, and I will be in to get them, and if I can't find one by then, I'll expect you to take care of me until then, till I do find one. Well, get this. When I went into this doctor to pick up my prescriptions, which I even had an appointment for. I had made the appointment properly. I even had a card, an appointment card. When I went there, This is what they did. And the witch who was at the front reception, I'll never forget it. Her name, well, I won't say her name, but she was a witch. She basically brought me in and said, "How are you doing?" You know, just like nothing's happening. Brought me into the room where the doctor sees you after I had waited a few minutes. Then she proceeded, because I knew that something was up, so I made it like I needed to go out to my car and get something. And sure enough, I saw police cars pulling in. She had called the police on these people, well, let's just say them, on their guidance, had called the police. And sure enough, after I'd gone back in the room where the doctor sees you, the doctor never came in, but she came in with 2 police officers. And they said if I ever contact that doctor again, I would be arrested and thrown in jail. When I asked them for the reason, because I'd done nothing wrong, it was the doctor who was letting me go for reasons he wouldn't even tell me, and I had I had done nothing illegal, no doctor jobbing, no nothing like that. I'd never done that, never will. They couldn't give me one. They just said, sign this or else. If you don't sign this, we're going to take you in right now. So I was forced to sign something for them to let me go. I mean, this is Hitler-esque, people. This is absolutely Nazi socialism at its finest. So I was forced to do that. When I left, here's what I did. I saw another police officer off to the side watching the other 2 police officers that were with me, escorting me outside to my car. I saw her with another, let's just say he was dressed as a police officer. He was a white, bald-headed guy, and that's who, for me, they always were, white, big white, bald-headed guys. And he was an asshole. Sorry for the language. But here's what I did. I just basically killed the 2 police officers that escorted me out to my car with kindness. I shook their hands. I let them know what was going on, why all this had happened, because they don't know, they're just following orders. I thanked them for the service, and I made friends with them very quickly. And I flipped them. Well, let me tell you something, people. They don't like that. And I'll cover that in another one of these. But from that point on, they never let me communicate heavily with anyone that they used as a pawn ever again. They always kept them separate from me. Well, that bald-headed guy came out there and he was pissed. He told them to get away and for me to leave. This is what they do, people. And this is America. And this is what has happened since I was a little kid. It's just been basically taken over. And I hope and pray to the good Lord above that some of us, somebody, someone can do that, something can be done about it. And I just want you people to know I love each and every one of you. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon here. Take care. God bless.